Pardon, I was messing with camera angle. You know that's dangerous. All right. Good morning, beloveds. Yesterday was a hot mess, and today is September 11th. And that's... anytime I do... Okay. I'm not doing sacred reading, but I am doing spiritual reading. And the reason why I mention the date, other than, is because anytime you read anything, but it's especially important when you are reading sacred literature, or in my case, I'm simply reading spiritual literature, to understand the mood that you are in, because it is going to affect the way you interpret it. And that is extremely important to know, because your mood will depend on how you interpret things. In fact, okay? And I know this because I have read passages in one mood and then gone back and read it again later in a different mood. It's just like reading a book that I loved in childhood. Now that I'm an adult, it hits differently. Okay. So that's so today is a heavy day. We are doing spiritual literature. So how I read it and the comments I make are going to be affected by the day that it is. So that's why it's important for you to understand. Yesterday was a hot mess. Today is September 11th. I mention that because September 11th will always hit. My mother is fine, but she was on an airplane that day, and there were 3 hours where we did not know where she was. So, my mother had also recently, right before that September 11th, had been offered a job in the Pentagon. September 11th hits, okay? It will never not. And that's okay, but I need to say it up front. Okay. All right. Now, we are doing Your Spiritual Power, which is a collection of writings from Ernest Holmes. We are doing Your Invisible Power, is the section we're in. So let's do the housekeeping really quick, and then we will do a couple of pages in that. And I literally am going to limit it to a couple of pages. I'm just going to read. Every time he changes titles, I'm going to do a different day. I'm just going to take my time through this book. All right. Now, right. Dante has joined me and is playing with his ball track. So if you hear that, that's what that noise is. The housekeeping is simply me reminding you that we are Creative Life Spiritual Center. The website is creativelife.org. The constant contact email, if you will email info@creativelife.org, you get one email a week. The hot links are hot, and it just tells you what's going on for the week and the month. So if it says click here now, it means it. And just lets you know what's going on for the week and the month. And then on top of that, it's a blind CC. That means nobody's going to see your email. Nobody will get your email. You won't end up on anybody else's email list because of us. So I want you to know that. I'm merely going to mention the social media briefly because we do not monetize it. We don't give them money. We don't ask you to give us money through them. We don't want to deal with the ads any more than you do. So what we ask you to do instead is to like, subscribe, follow based on the platform that you are on. If you allow notifications, that lets you know when we either upload a new video or go live. And then engage with the individual post. React to the post, comment on the post, share the post. It bumps us in the algorithms. More people see our stuff. So it is a free way that you can support the center. All right. I guess I should tell you what the social medias are. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center or Creative Life Spark, and I'm the running of Ryan across the social medias that I am on. So there's that. All right. Moving on. I just finished The Science of Mind, and I think that a number of the articles towards the end of Science of Mind are Your Invisible Power. Because the article I read yesterday, I'm like, you know what? I've heard this recently. So I'm repeating myself, but I'm not repeating. It's simply by virtue of the book that I chose. But it says right on the cover, a collection of inspirational writings. It is a collection of stuff that was rarely published, may not be available anywhere else right now. I mean, it's a nice fat book. So, and he starts with immortality, and you're like, why are we starting with such a heavy topic? And my theory is because we're human. And as human beings, if we start with a heavy topic, we'll be more open to hearing the not quite so heavy topics. So we are going to, we are doing Your Invisible Power in this is the section we're in. So we're in God, Your Personal Self, Part 2, and we are going to do the section called That Life is with the Life That Is Within You, which may not be what the title says, and if it isn't, I'm sorry. All right. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do, is I'm just going to break these up based on the little sections and just take it day by day. There's no need for me to rush through it. Okay. All right. The life that is within you. The life within you is God. Whatever is true of God is true of your life, since your life and the life of God are not two, but one. The enlightened have ever proclaimed this unity of good, this oneness of humanity with God. For this reason, many have spoken of this life within you as both personal and impersonal. Impersonal from the standpoint that it is universal. Personal from the standpoint that this universal life principle is personified in you. This life within you, being God, did not begin, and it cannot end. Hence, you are immortal and eternal. That is, you can never be less, but must forever be more yourself. As this life within you unfolds through your experience, through your gathering of knowledge and your accumulation of wisdom, evolution is the drawing out of the God principle already within you. Ooh, I like that line. I like that line a lot. Evolution is the drawing out of the God principle already latent within you. I guess that's where he gets that idea of you become more you, because you become closer to your divine heritage. It is this God principle within you which Jesus referred to when he said, before Abraham was, I am. And when he said to the one who passed from this life with him, today thou shalt be with me in paradise. The God that is within you is truth, beauty, harmony, and wholeness. Every apparent imperfection from which you suffer is a result of ignorance. Because ignorance of the law excuses no one from its effect, or from its effects. It follows that the very power which has bound you, rightly understood and properly used, and I want to point out that is in all caps, rightly understood and properly used, will produce freedom. That's the thing. He likens it to electricity. Electricity is neither good nor bad. You can use it to heat your tea kettle, or you can use it, like you can boil water on the stove, or you can electrocute a person with it. The power is not good or bad. It is the use that we make of it. So that's why he's got it in all caps, rightly understood and properly used, it will produce freedom. The God within you is a unity, not a duality. The very fact that this unity is changeless, forever revealing itself to each, is why the God who is already within, even though it is harmonious and perfect, has ever appeared as the God we believe in. Wait, what? Okay. I'm going to go back and do that line again, because what? All right, hang on. Let's see. The very fact that this unity is changeless, forever revealing itself to each, is why the God who is already within, even though it is harmonious and perfect, has ever appeared as the God we believe in. The second reading's no better than the first. I'm just going to move on. Okay. We might say that the God within, being infinite, appears to each one of us as the God who is believed in. So my undergraduate degree is in anthropology, And for a long time, one of the things that I said is we created God in our own image. I think that's what Ernest is kind of leaning into. God is so much more than what we actually know and believe, because God is everything and God is infinite and we are finite. So so the God that shows up in our life is the one we believe in. And if that rocks you back on your heels, you might want to go back and take a look about what you believe about God. All right. And we worship the God whom we believe in rather than the God who is. But there is nothing wrong about this, since the God who is believed in is at all times some part of the God who is. This is one of the reasons why I love the Hindu system, because the Hindus recognized that Brahma is all there is. But Brahma is too big for me to deal with, so I'm going to separate out that little part of God that I need to deal with right now. I'm going to give it a name so that I can hold on to it. Brahma is all there is. So while people can accuse them of being polytheistic, they're not really. They are monotheistic. They just understand that God is so much bigger that they deal with the parts of God that they need to, and they give it names to make it easier to deal with. It's like they took the infinite system and said, no, God is all there is. Brahma is all there is. But this is what I need right now. Okay, so therefore, whatever God you believe in, provided you believe this God is already in you, must respond to you at the level of your belief. This is why it is done unto each of us as we believe. The principle is infallible. The practice is what we make it. Oh, God bless Ernest Holmes. Okay. Yeah. Yep. All right. This is why we're only going to do a couple of pages, because it's so deep and rich and meaty and blah. There is a great difference whether or not you believe God to be within you or outside of you. For if God is outside of you, how are you going to reach this God, who, not being a part of you, must be separated from you? How can you hope to unite things which are different from each other? But the God who is already within you, again, all in caps, being forever perfect and complete, needs no reunion with anyone, and you need no reunion with this God, because this God already is in your every act, in every thought, in every movement, in your every plan, purpose, and performance. And that might rock you back on your heels, because it's like, wait a minute, am I living up to the God that I believe in my every act, in my every word? You know what? No, I'm not. Do I do it most of the time? Yes. But I need to think about that, and maybe I could have a little more work to do. You know? I am a spiritual being having a human experience, so I'm going to do better to live up to the God within me. The God within you creates every circumstance and situation you have ever experienced. You have called these circumstances and situation things in themselves, but they never have been. They have always been the fruition of your thought, and your thought has always been dominated by your belief in God. That is ever since you have had a self-conscious life. That's why I say, if you look around your life and you don't like what you see, let's go back and see what you believe about God. And honestly, I never bought a lot of what I was told by a lot of religions about God, and I'm grateful that I never did. Whew. Ever since you have had self-conscious thought, you have, by your use of the law of liberty, created bondage. Not that bondage really existed, but the possibility of using freedom in a limited way existed. You really never bound freedom. You merely used it in a restricted way. The restriction was not in the principle, but in your use of it. There is a difference whether you believe in actual limitation or merely in the restricted use of freedom. If limitation were a thing in itself, You could not change it. But since it is merely an outline of experience, why not use your imagination to enlarge that experience? My favorite quote from Einstein, worry is a misuse of imagination. Why not imagine things going right? Okay, back to Ernest. When you do this, you will find the life principle within you responds just as quickly to a broader outline. The old outline was imaginary only, never real. It was like the horizon where the earth and sky appear to meet, but as we travel towards this apparent wall, we find it disappears. Whatever you mentally see and spiritually comprehend, you may objectively experience, for the God within you is not limited to any one experience. It is the creator of all experience. All right. Again, so if we want to go back and use that electricity metaphor, then it's the same thing. Well, are you just using the electricity to turn on one light in your house, or are you using electricity for everything in your house? And that's what he's saying here. It's like, look, this power can do all this amazing stuff, but you're only using it to do this. Enlarge your experience. Turn on a second light. Turn on the stove. Use the dishwasher. There's all these things that electricity can do, and we're not doing it. There are all these things that this power that resides within us that is part of our very makeup, part of who we are, which means because it's what we're made of, we have the right to use it. We have the ability to use it. We have the responsibility to use it. Yep. Okay. So a very weighty topic, as I said. So we're going to pick up tomorrow on, I guess are we already on page 50? Wow, we're already on page 50. We're going to pick up with the mind that is within you. Well, that's where we're going to start tomorrow. But yeah, I like the electricity metaphor. My mom's an electrical engineer, so, if you want to talk about electricity, I'm there. I went to my undergraduate. I have an undergraduate in anthropology, but I originally wanted to be a mechanical engineer. What I wanted to do, though, I was 20 years too early. I was interested in nanotechnology, and it wasn't there yet. So thus I have a degree in anthropology and do this. Okay, so, it really does go back to, what do you believe about God? And that's always a good place to start. What do you believe about God? What do you believe about yourself? And once you get that straightened out and sorted, life could get easier. Probably will get easier. So, all right. I'm going to move on into the process of my day, but I'm going to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day, a take care of business day, a you got this day, a let's start wrapping this week up day, a cuddle your fur babies day, a do something to make yourself laugh day. As I said, it's a heavy day, so make sure that you take some humor breaks day. A hug somebody today, whether for you or for them. Get that oxytocin day. A remember who you are day. I am out of words day. A good day, and if that is too much pressure, because like I said, I know what day it is, simply have a day. You are enough, just as you are. You're a beloved expression of the divine. Your spirit in motion, God in action, a brilliant light, a divine spark, a beautiful masterpiece, and a work in progress at the same time, at your own pace. That is my favorite part of that sentence. And as Reverend Jesse likes to call us, you are godly. All right, beloveds. My allergy season has started. I apologize. Get to know who the divine knows you to be. because the divine knows you to be good. It is all the divine knows. And from there, anything is possible. All right, beloveds. Take care of yourself today. And if you've got the wherewithal, take care of the people around you. And if you don't, take care of yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. Okay? So make sure that your cup is not necessarily full, but at least 3/4 of the way. All right? Reverend David should be out around 5 p.m. with you. I will be back with you around 9-ish tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Please. Know that you are loved. And I will see you next time.